What you saying, people, and welcome back to the Small Brain Podcast with me, Jake Harvey, and my co-host.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Joseph Murphy.
Now, mate, firstly, I want to say what lovely feedback we had on our last episode.
Oh, I loved it. Everyone was really nice about it. Everyone enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really nice to hear actually, because it was something that we were both sort of a bit, how are people going to take it, and they took it really well, and I think that's good.
Yeah, mate. I mean, even the watch minutes were like insane. So I want to
Yeah,
say big thank you on that. People seem to be watching the whole of the episode, which is great news, really. So I want to say a quick thank you on that. I also do want to address a critical thing on my side with my voice. Sounded a bit weird last week, I think. I think it was just the nerves, really. Not gonna lie. So,
look, mate.
but
Everyone I talked
we'll
to, specifically my dad, said you sounded Australian, and I had to agree with it. I thought he sounds like a little man down under. But I kind of liked it. It added a little something different to the first episode. People are going to listen to the first one, might think, oh, he's Australian. What's he going to be next week? Well, this week, he's Jake. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is me, Jake Garvey, but I'm gonna try my best for Dave, your dad, and
I
I'm
just
gonna try
doxed him
not
or
to
whatever.
sound. I'm not gonna. I'm trying not to sound Australian this week,
Mm,
so
mm.
we'll try that. But yeah, we'll go from there. But I think this week, Joe, you're gonna kick us off with our first topic, my man.
Yeah, it's good. But how's your
Right?
day been?
Yeah,
That's
that
the
is a good
bit that
point.
we do
Forgot
on the
about that bit.
podcast where we ask each other how our days/weeks have been. How's your week been? I want to hear your week more.
All right, so this week it's been a fun week. I can't lie.
Nah.
Start, yeah, mate, yeah, it's start ever since Boris has said 6 people. I've been having a wonderful time.
That was
Um,
a meeting where he just said 6 people and then left. That was so weird when he did that.
Mike dropped it. Mike dropped it. But yeah, so I've been meeting up. I think it was Tuesday. I met up with a few of my mates um, from my old high school, and we kind of went out to Castle Acre, which is a lovely place. Had a little picnic, and just went for a swim in the river. Now I know
Boy, nah.
that could now I know that could not be social distancing, but I want to make it clear. I did not go in the river when everyone else was in the river.
Yeah, but
So
was
I
it
want to
like
make
a
that
free
clear.
flowing river or is it one of them stationary rivers?
Free flowing. I had a good
Yeah, I've actually done
flow.
my research here. As you can hear, that was a pen click. It says here you actually catch it double if you've been in free flowing rivers. So
Oh, oh no, no.
no,
That's
no,
basically
no.
basically got coronavirus.
Uh,
But yeah,
we have fun on this
but
podcast. So it's all
we
out
had
for real.
fun. And another thing, I've got a, new 35mm film camera which has come through the post.
Mm.
Um, just yesterday actually. Which is brilliant. I've put a roll of film in, and that is the Canon EOS 1N, which, if anyone knows anything about it, it's bloody brilliant apparently. So I thought I'd give it a purchase, and I can't lie, it's pretty
Mm.
banging indeed. So you'll be seeing some work on that on my photography Instagram.
No way,
Yeah, mate, we're going for it.
mate.
I
It's
think we're
been
going for it.
millennia since I've seen that.
You know how it is, mate. We got to spice it up. This
Mm.
lockdown's got me doing things that I had never thought I'd do again.
Bloody hell, mate.
So
Some of the things you got arrested for.
we already talk about that on the podcast. But
Uh,
it's what about you, mate? How's your week been?
well, my week's been pretty good. I started off pretty solidly. I saw the missus. I saw my girlfriend, the lovely Lydia, for the first time in about 12 weeks, in person.
Jeez,
And that was pretty great because, you can even FaceTime someone, but it's much different meeting them in person. You know what I mean?
I
Or seeing them in
understand, mate.
person. Like, we met before. I want to make that, I want to make that clear.
She is real. I want to
She's
make
real,
that clear.
she's real, but that was pretty solid. And then Tuesday was just like I don't remember what happened Tuesday, but Wednesday, and I'm really happy that you mentioned this when you mentioned your week, Jake. Like, no hard feelings, but we actually saw each other, and that was cool.
Oh yeah, mate. How could I forget? That was literally the highlight of my week. I had it written down to talk about it, and then
We're friends on this podcast. This isn't like a business relationship. We are actually friends. But anyway, yeah, we saw each other, and that was the first time in about 12 weeks that we'd met, and that was really cool. And like, a big part of the week. But you went swimming, and that's sick too. And then I just did some other stuff this week that's sick. But yeah, I look forward to the podcasts. They're always fun. It reminds me of what day of the week it is because we record these on a Saturday. But yeah, I'd like to address something that I noticed while I was listening to the podcast last week. Now, keen-eared listeners to the podcast might notice that after about the halfway mark, it sounds like I'm just continuously cutting Jake off. Now, I would like to make
true.
I would like to make that clear that I wasn't doing that for some reason. The audio, which is probably going to happen on this one, so I'm going to try and pace out my replies, which won't work because I'm not that kind of person. But they sort of cut in between what he was saying, like halfway through a sentence. So hopefully that won't happen again. But I'm not promising anything. But yeah, you just gotta have fun with it, really. Like, this ain't like a serious podcast. This is just one that you pop on for a bit of fun. I love
We're
it.
light-hearted.
Well,
It's a distraction from everything going on else. You know what I mean? It's a
well,
comedic
we
distraction.
want you to grab a couple of bourbons, and if you're vegetarian, custard cream, and then get a cup of tea, have a sit down, pop on the podcast, grab a loved one by the fireplace, and enjoy this podcast. I think that's
Two
my
meter,
idea.
2 meter
2
distance
meter
though.
distance though, and outdoors. And only if you're playing golf. I think that's the thing you can do as well now.
I mean, you can play a lot of sports these days,
Greyhound
which is
racing,
quite good.
that's pretty crazy.
Greyhound racing.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah. You're
no,
not.
it
You're
literally
not
is,
2 meters.
but that's okay.
Damn.
It's back. Yeah, I guess it is.
Right then, mate. Do you want to start off with your little topic?
Listen, mate, I've been buzzing to tell you about this topic since last podcast because it's something very near and dear to my heart. This is something that I actually was so smitten about that I wanted to make a whole channel. I wanted to make a whole podcast about topics. So one time I could bring this topic up and discuss it. And you know what? I got my way. So listen, mate, you're on Instagram.
I am.
I'm on Instagram.
You are.
Listener, you're probably on Instagram too. Most of the world's on Instagram. You know what I enjoy on Instagram, Jake?
What do you enjoy, mate?
Good meme page. But you know what I don't like about these meme pages?
What don't you like, mate? What don't you like?
Some of these scumbag tactics that they used, right? Or use. I'm following several meme pages because I like a good laugh here and there. But my thing is about how they just use scumbag tactics. Like, half of them pretend to close down, and they're like, "Whoa, I'm gonna get banned. You better follow my account." But then you go to that account, and then in their description, they're like, "We're not gonna let you in unless you follow this account." And then you go to that one, and they're like, "We're not gonna follow it unless you follow this account." And then it's a horrible maze of things you don't want to get into. And they also like every single post's an ad, but they try and hide it and make it look like a joke, but it's actually an ad. And also recently I've seen this thing where they'll be like, "Hey, in 1 minute, I'm going to put up a post. And if you can letter by letter comment pizza, of all things, I'll follow you." But the only reason they're doing that is to flood the comments because it's an ad and they don't want people bitching about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's my topic about how they're scumbags. And I thought
Mate, I do agree. That is scumbag tactics.
it's got
But you gotta love pizza.
look, I love pizza as much as the next guy. But if I had, and after this podcast, maybe one of these days I will have, at most 10,000 followers. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be using that platform to be like, "Hey, I'm gonna post up an ad." If you guys flood the comments with nonsensical letters or love hearts, they do love hearts as well. You can do that. so that people don't notice that this is an ad. Ho, ho, ho. I'll give you a follow. You know what I mean? That's just weird to me.
It is weird, mate. I can't lie. It's a strange tactic to get people to follow. But I mean, if you think about it, mate, where would those meme pages that me and you so dearly love, without their sort of adverts, where would they be, mate?
Probably high tier.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Listen,
I'll tell you.
yeah,
I'll tell you what would be good for a next podcast. We could do a meme page tier list.
meme page tier list. I kind of like it. I rate it. I kind of like it.
I don't know. I feel like people would love to see what our favourite meme pages are, so they could then therefore experience the memes we true and dearly love.
Yeah. I mean, there's some out there that I think are better than others. I don't want to name any names when I was talking about the scumbaggery because I didn't want them because they got enough Instagram money. They could send a hitman after me or something. You know what I mean?
Mate, I mean, drop names. Drop names.
No, I'm so waved. Right, I used to love that page. Okay, it was a classic. Then the first sign of there's something fishy going on here is when he kept saying, "I'm going to be banned. I'm going to be bloody banned." And his backup happened to be 46 different accounts with like nothing in common. I'm like, something's a bit odd here, isn't it? Something's a bit odd here. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. You know Shoe Zone?
Yeah.
Right. So in our local town, Shoe Zone used to be in a different place, right? And for about 14 years, they were advertising that they were closing down and they were doing closing down sales. But they never bloody did. You know why they did that, Jake? They did that because they wanted people to buy their shit, slippers and shoes, because no one else would buy them otherwise. But if you thought, oh my god, they're closing down, I better buy a pair of Crocs. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're not wrong, but I do want to say, how many times have me and you walked past Shoe Zone? There's been a few times where me and you have gone into Shoe Zone because we've seen some bargains.
We've never went into Shoe Zone.
We've been into Shoe Zone
We've
in
never.
Norwich, and I want to put that out there because you bought your shoes.
That's not a Shoe
You,
Zone. That wasn't a Shoe Zone,
oh damn!
mate. That was like it was some like shoe warehouse thing where they were selling their shoes for like a fiver. It was a bag, and that shop don't exist anymore. They probably got done for like malpractices or something like that. But yeah,
Bloody hell, mate! I had this whole bit about Shoe Zone.
I've actually been spending a week writing a bit about Shoe Zone, but I actually can't use it now.
Oh mate, to be fair, they used to sell some right good fake Timberlands in there. I mean, Primark do a better job. I can't
Primark
lie,
have
but
good, yeah, they're good Timberlands.
it's Shoe Zone. Your point was on meme pages. I mean, Shoe Zone, Primark, fake Timberlands. We've taken a bit of a tangent, but I like it.
I think that you need to learn that everything in life is. Have you heard of the butterfly effect?
Explain it to me, mate.
Okay, so this is a real thing. So if a butterfly, right, flaps its
Right.
wings in like California, right, there will
Yeah.
be an earthquake in Fuji. I think that's how it goes. That's probably wrong. I think it means like every little thing that you do leads to something else. So like I could blow
Damn.
my nose right now, and in 14 podcast time, I could get a cold. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I understand, mate.
Yeah.
I understand. I like that theory. I like it a lot.
So what have you ever noticed these things on meme pages?
I have, mate. I have noticed them,
Does
and
it do your head in?
it does do my head in, but I typically unfollow them as soon as I
See?
see that.
Yeah, and that's not good, is
No, I mean this is the complete opposite of what they want us to do.
it? It
So
literally is. Imagine you put on your story, follow this page, and then everyone doesn't do that and blocks you. Like, that's crazy.
you're gonna be annoyed, aren't you?
Yeah, I would be.
Although I say that I am still following I'm So Waved.
Yeah, so am I. But that's neither here nor there. Like, the point is, I'm not happy that they're doing it. And I hope they listen to this and stop doing it. Because some of the stuff they put on there is eye-wateringly hilarious. I think that's fair to
I
say.
mean, Yeah, I mean, push this to I'm So Wave to get them
Yeah,
to stop doing this, and
everyone
then I feel like
DM I'm so way and say stop doing that. But I suppose you got to make your money somehow. But like, either you know, don't do that, please. You know?
I mean, couldn't they just do a collaboration with Drake or something and get some money? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause,
because that's what Ninja did.
that is what Ninja did. So I don't know. I don't see why I'm So Wave can't be doing that.
Nah, nah. Whatever happened to that guy? I don't hear anything about him anymore.
What Ninja?
Yeah, no Drake.
I think.
Yeah,
Wait, which one?
yeah, yeah. Fortnite.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Damn. I feel like he did a brand deal with Adidas
Hmm. That's
or
weird.
Adidas,
Why would he ever
whichever
need to
one.
wear shoes?
It was for t-shirts, I think, mate.
Hmm.
And then I think he just sold out possibly. But Fortnite's became dead, hasn't it? So it's like
Yeah, it's all about Realm
Fortnite
Royale now.
dead. Oh mate, Realm Royale, what a game!
Everyone, we've actually converted this to a Realm Royale podcast where we talk all things Realm Royale based. Yeah, quality. I do love it.
It's a quality game. Ninja should play that, and then he'd be back on top. I
Yeah,
feel.
I feel like that would get him to high tier levels. But yeah, so my topic was like meme pages and stuff like that. I love them. I think there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, nothing's original anymore. Everything's stolen. The only original thing left on this earth is probably this podcast, I'd say. Um, but like, it's like not everything in Tesco's is Tesco's made, but you still go there because that's where all the stuff is, based. So such pages as getting a big plug. This guy, I don't like him as I'm so wave.
Title of this podcast: I'm So
I'm
Wave.
so wave. Um, yeah, like it's good, but you know,
Yeah,
oh,
I mean, you don't go to Tesco's to get a Scotch egg and then suddenly decide to buy bleach. You know what I mean?
mm,
You go there
mm.
specifically to buy that Scotch egg.
I don't typically go to
So,
Tesco's and then there's a big sign saying we're being banned. Go follow Morrison's, and then I get to Morrison's and it says, "I will let you in as long as you follow Lidl." You know what I mean?
I mean, I probably would do that
Oh, I
though.
totally, mate. Lidl is great. I love Lidl. I love the bakery at Lidl.
It's quite elite, although one time I did go into Lidl and find a mouldy bagel, and I've
Oh,
never really felt the same.
oh. I'll tell you what, that yeah, you get the flies on them as well.
Oh, mate, don't even.
Oh, I hate it when you get these places. Like, I think I've seen one in York. I feel like I've seen one in York, Walk, where there's a really nice bakery and all this stuff looks so good, like something out of a film. But then you look a little deeper, and then there's flies all over them. Oh, well, I'm not gonna eat that.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? You know what I mean? When you can go to a lovely Tesco's bakery or uh, an Aldi
So
bakery.
there's
An Aldi
sponsors this
bakery,
week. Like, Audi baker. Audi don't do bakeries, do they?
mate, they're fresh bread loaves.
You are lying to me.
No, they are fresh bread loaves. In the one in our local town, they are fresh bread loaves.
All right, I'll be on that soon. I'll have a peek.
I mean, Aldi, I'd argue, and if Aldi's listening, sponsor this podcast. Aldi are superior to Lidl, no cap.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that actually. Yeah, probably. Nah, wrong actually. Look, I love that bakery too. But them cookies. If someone said to me, "You can eat one thing for the rest of your life," I'll probably put like an apple or something 'cause I feel like you can live longer with that. But if they were like, "There's no health consequences," then I'll take the cookie. You know what I mean?
What flavour cookie are you going for there?
Oh, pull out chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip?
Chocolate chip. They do a nice
Uh,
triple chocolate one. That's pretty good.
I would have said the triple chocolate.
Triple chocolate is a good one. The triple chocolate ones from Tesco's. They're good.
Oh yeah, mate, you can't go wrong. Although the oat and raisin from Tesco's are a bit good equally.
I just inhaled air when you said that because it reminded me of how good those are. I tell you what did annoy me today, right? I had some donuts from Tesco's, as you do. They used to be 5 in a pack, now they're 4. It's capitalism at
Bloody
its
yeah.
worst, to be honest.
To be fair though, in these dark times of Corona, they probably can't source the fifth.
Yeah, they've probably lost the fifth. You're right. Yeah,
They
you make a good point.
donate the fifth donut
Yeah,
to the
you got
coronavirus
to. Yeah, the gods. Yeah,
terms. You know what I mean?
yeah, make a good point, mate. Yeah, but like I say, in these dark times, what we want to do is view some classic hilarious memes, and you can't because every post is an ad for some socks or a below average model.
True.
Those ones annoy me. Where it's like, oh, her at is Olive eating cupcakes. So I don't care. Go home.
But I do love eating cupcakes, you know what I mean?
All right, Jay. I get what you'll get at.
No,
No,
I actually like
I ain't
cupcakes.
had
I
a cup.
can't lie.
I don't think I've had a cupcake in ages.
Nah, I love eating cupcakes.
Not
But
since BC before
oh,
Corona.
damn,
Yeah,
that's what it actually stands for.
yeah.
That's quite impressive though.
BC is before Corona. ACDC.
Back in black.
Back in black. Exactly.
What a track.
Mm,
Now I think that nicely leads us on
mm.
to
I hadn't made my final point, but that nicely leads us on to Jay, track of the week, music of the week. We've said it before, we'll say it again. This can be anything from Elvis Presley,
to
yeah,
Little
to
Pump.
Little Pump. That's what we always say. That's our classic catchphrase, is what we say. So Jake, tell me, what have you been listening to this week?
So this week I've taken it back a bit, and I've been listening to the song which I'm sure lots of you are familiar with. It's "Freaks and Geeks"
Oh,
by Childish Gambino, and I'll tell you what, this 2011 banger
mm,
is one of my all-time favourites. Not only Childish Gambino song, but one of my all-time favourite songs.
mm.
Um, I think it's influenced a lot of American rap as well,
Yeah,
and I feel like it's just a classic. I picked it because I know me and Joe especially love this
I
song.
love
We both,
that song, and I love Childish Gambino.
yeah, we are both big fans of Childish Gambino. So I picked it. Um, it's just a great song. Um, and I can't lie, from that album that it's on, I think the album's Campfire. Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe.
Wrong.
Damn,
No, I think it's Camp. I think it's just Camp
that
because there's a song
that could
called
be it.
Bonfire. I think it is, but I'm wrong probably.
I think it is actually Camp.
Yeah,
Um, but it is a banging album as well. Filled with some great tracks. So
mate, there is some
yeah,
quality ones on there. Bonfire, that's great. Um, yeah,
cracking,
that
mate,
one's good.
cracking.
Can I just gush for a second about Childish Gambino, mate? He has some, mate, the gift that keeps on giving. Every song. There's not an album I don't like because the internet. That's classic. That's got 3005. No one can tell me
Oh, banger.
3005 is a bad song. Everyone in the comments, leave a comment saying 3005 is a good song, even if you don't think it is. I just want to see them. The bots,
True
the bots
fact
that comment, if you
about
could put that pun.
true fact about 3005. That
Mm-hmm.
song. I remember me and you were at a party. I might have told you this before. Me and you were at a party once, and you were completely out of your mind drunk. And the only way I could tell if you were still with me is if you lyric by lyric told me that those lyrics of that song, and you carried on doing that, which made me feel comfortable that you were still with me.
I think sobriety tests should be done if you can lyric for lyric do 3005. See, here's the problem, right? I can, at parties and stuff, right? I can get drunk, I can get very drunk, but I'll always remember lyrics to songs most of the time.
Damn.
I feel like I
And
could be wrong. I don't remember.
you, you did for this one. You did it lyric by lyric as much as you could, and I'll tell you, I was more comfortable to know that you were alive when you could lyric by lyric
Listen, I
sing
checked his wrist. There
2005.
was no pulse, but he was just spitting bars.
Spitting major bars, my guy. You were tearing up the scene with that
It is
track.
good.
So
It is, I love it because it's like one that I know everything for, and like I cannot listen to that song for a year, and then when I hear it on like TV, like I'll just start. Do you ever have a song like that where you know it all, like all, but you cannot listen to it for ages and you would still know it?
yeah, mate, I can't lie. I've had many a track like that. I can't think of one on the top of my head, but there is many like that where I can just name all the lyrics.
I can name them.
I think. Oh, what's that one? What's that one song that was in the song Suicide Squad with Lil Wayne in it?
Oh,
Oh,
purple Lamborghini.
but no, that was with Rick
Yeah,
Ross.
it was.
I'm searching this up. I'm doing fact checking while we're
Let's
in
go
this.
fact checks. I have all my facts written down on the same piece of paper. I wrote everything down on for this podcast. It has a big thing that says topics and then it has a list of topics. In the corner, it just has the word banter, which, we're doing that, right? I got the structure. Um, I got some stuff. I got some good stuff on here.
Oh, I found it. I found it.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
This the song is "Sucker for Fame"
Oh,
with
I like that song.
Logic, Ty Dolla Sign, and Imagine
Mm.
Dragons and Wiz Khalifa, and I can sing that song word for word, and it is a banger.
Tell you what was a banging sing along when me and you sung Maroon 5 in the car.
Oh, mate, in my little Vauxhall Corsa, me and you were singing along.
That was class. Windows down, blaring out the song.
Mate,
Payphone, I think it was. Also Sugar. Sugar was my favorite one, I think.
the harmonies,
Yeah, harmonies.
they were insane, my guy.
It was right good. It was right good.
But what is your song of the week,
Well,
Joe?
I know it's only podcast too, but I'm actually gonna mix up the entire way we've been putting these podcasts together, Jake, because I've not only been listening to a song, I've been listening to an entire album this week.
Cool.
Like Run the Jewels. hmm They are a
Right.
rap duo consisting of LP and Killer Mike. They're one of my favourite rap collectives out there. Because I fancy myself a little rap guy. I like a bit of rap here and there. Run the Jewels 3, which was their last album, was one of my all-time favourites. And this week they've released Run the Jewels 4, which is, and I doubt you've listened to it, but I would listen to it because
I,
it's unreal.
I do like Killer Mike a
Killer
lot.
Mike is really good. Killer Mike's underrated, I'd say.
He's he's insane. I do love his stuff. So I feel like I'm gonna have to check it out.
He on this album he has some absolute bars, boy. It's so good. There's songs on there with 2 Chainz called Out of Sight. That's a
Nice.
good one. 2 Chainz has a bar saying, I'll buy a whole hot dog stand if I'm being frank. And I'm like, that's good. Because like Frankfurters,
Bars.
there's a song called Ooh La La, which is really good. I just like the names of the songs. There's one called Holy Calamafuck, which is good. I like that one.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good. They got some class. Personally, I prefer Run the Jewels 3 over Run the Jewels 4, but I still think every album that they've made is unreal because it's mostly Killer Mike doing the rapping, but they pass it between each other. But LP's more on the production side of it, and like the production on this album is insane.
Mate, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Musically, if I may say this, musically it is beautiful. If I may say that,
Damn. Damn.
if I'm allowed to say that.
You're allowed to say that, and I'm gonna say you should say that. Even though I haven't heard it, I believe you.
Also, I like the album cover, which is on the screen right now, because Jake absolutely doing bits with the editing on these videos. And what I love about it is he's actually teaching himself how to better himself. And I think we should all take a leaf out of that book in life. You're
I
really
appreciate
setting
that,
an
mate.
example.
I do appreciate it. I'm trying, guys. I am trying to get these videos to the next level. Hopefully, in the future, we can get some visuals
Mm,
of me and Joe as
mm,
well.
mm.
We'll have to work that out at a later date, but hopefully that will happen soon, and we can even up the quality even
Oh,
more.
big time.
So, but yeah, mate, I'm trying, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, what I'd like to do now, Jake, is something I've been eagerly anticipating for the last fortnight, even though it's only been a week. So last week I had the main event topic, a topic that carried us through the main event, and I feel like it was alright. It was alright. It wasn't anything special, but this is sort of an unwritten rule of this podcast. Whoever has the main event topic, you got to hit a home run. Realistically,
You gotta hit it. You gotta hit it.
you hit, you miss, you hit, and you miss 100% of shots you don't hit properly. You know what I mean? So, Jake, I can't wait to hear what you've got for this podcast's like main event. Can't wait. Let's hear it.
Right. So last week, my subtopic was disabled toilets.
And that
This week,
absolutely blew out of the park. Like I've been having email after email of Labour Party members, Conservative Party members, just people who enjoy building and being inside of disabled toilets. Like people just being like, "Wow, Jake, you really made me think about disabled toilets more than I thought I'd ever think about them." So yeah,
that's what we do on this podcast. But as I
we make
said,
people think.
last week, disabled toilets. This week, my main topic is aliens.
You right? Listen, I have a list of topics, right? At least 10 or so, and one of them is aliens. So let me cross that off. Damn it.
So I've done extensive research. I say extensive, half an hour's worth of research on aliens, and I've been diving deep.
Mm,
And the first question I'd like to top this whole thing off with is,
yeah.
Joe, have you ever seen an alien?
Have I ever seen an alien? Um, I don't think I have. I've seen some weird lights in the skies, but mostly been helicopters. I remember the first thing that I saw and thought was a real alien was ages ago when I was little, like proper little. And on the telly they were showing it was one of them shows where they were talking about if aliens are real or not. But like the footage of
Right.
it was just this little like alien fella walking around in a park. But like, it was all like handheld footage and stuff, and it looked really real. And I was like, oh my god, something like that could jump on me at any moment. So like when I was little, I believed aliens could be a thing, but I've never seen one. Have you?
Right. I have not either, but
Here's my topic.
I'd
Something I no ex-
but I I've I'm quite intrigued by conspiracy theories as a
Mm,
whole. I'm not saying that I believe all of them, but I'm quite intrigued by a lot of
mm.
them. And I like to watch quite a few like documentaries on this sort of stuff. So I thought I'd bring it to the podcast. Um, Now the first thing I'd like to cover with the aliens, now that we've got have you seen any aliens out of the way? The first thing I want to uncover, which I think is probably one of the biggest things that NASA sort of mysteriously happened in NASA. They've sort of lost the original footage of people going onto the moon.
Wait, what?
NASA
Wait, what?
have, I don't know if
Oh,
you've
I didn't
heard
know
about
about
this.
this. They've lost it.
NASA have admitted to losing the
Well, that's a
footage
bit
of the
suspicious.
original footage of people going to the moon.
You'd have thought you'd have that on. You'd back that up on like a DVD or something.
I mean, it's not just like a micro SD card you just
Yeah, I
lose,
know.
is it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Listen,
this is big
I've
stuff.
I've lost a couple of like I don't know Jackass DVDs in my time, like down the side of the bed or something like that. But like NASA's the biggest, probably like one of the biggest companies in the world, like in terms of money and stuff. They send rockets to the moon. you don't just have that on one tape.
You don't. You get many of backup,
Your
and
backup. Even if it's all on tapes, you have like 1,000 tapes. I would pay one person £10 a day to keep backing that up.
but apparently, according to NASA, they've lost the original footage of the moon landing. Now, to me, that sort of struck something in my brain, which thought, why would they just mysteriously lose it? Is it because there was aliens on this footage? Maybe next level stuff
Yeah, that was my
on this
first thought as
footage.
well when you said that.
Like, why would they just mysteriously lose it and just never think of backing
Unless
it
it was
up?
fake.
Or maybe they did. It, mm, I don't think we want to get into that, mate, because I'm not sure.
Unless it was fake.
I do have the question: do you believe we went to the moon on my screen?
Here's the thing. I don't not believe it. I don't see why you'd need to fake it.
I definitely believe it.
Why would you want, like, how vain and, like, out of ideas would you be to, like, fake it? You know what I mean?
It's equally just such a dumb
Yeah.
thing to fake.
Like, out of all the things in the
Like,
world that you'd be like, nah, we can't. Like, if someone was doing a Guinness World Record of doing a big jump, but he couldn't actually do a big jump, so he just edit himself doing a big jump, like, that's fair. But, like,
that is
don't
fair.
pose the idea that you can go to the moon if you can't go to the moon. You know what I mean? And don't fake the footage.
Yeah. I mean, why would you just lose it as well? That's the main
Oh yeah, I
thing that
forgot that was a
sort of.
thing. Yeah, I don't think they lost it because of aliens. But they've recently,
Right,
I
what
mean,
do you.
this is probably a thing you're going to bring up, but they've recently said aliens are real, haven't they? Or something?
Well, recently, the US. Hang on, let me load this up because I've got this on my computer. So I've done quite a lot of research. So recently, the US military has officially published 3 UFO videos that did get leaked about 13 years
Right.
ago. Now, the footage appears to be like an airborne sort of craft of some sort, which is a heat-emitting object with no visible wings or exhaust or anything.
Jake has a Nobel Prize in UFO spotting.
Well, I thought I'd do my
Yeah, no, I
research,
like it.
mate.
I
You know
like
what
it.
I mean? So that they've done that, which I think is quite strange. How nobody really seemed to give a
Yeah, no
shit.
one cared. I remember that being like a. I think it was. Yeah, I don't know if you get this, but on my phone, if I just go to like Google something, it will give you the tiny stories at the bottom. That would be like, cat fell off dog or something like that. It was just one of them. It was like the third one down. Like nobody cares about this.
But why does no one care about
Exactly.
this?
I would think this is a big deal.
I think it's because they previously got leaked. But then it's still like they've
Yeah,
announced, the
yeah.
US Navy has announced this is real. So it seems a big deal. But after looking at that and seeing that these crafts that were spotted had no sort of wings or exhaust or
Mm.
anything, I then dove even deeper, my guy, even deeper into sort of UFOs and that sort of thing. And I saw this interesting video with a scientist called Dr. Greer. And he used to work in Area
All right.
51, and he showed images on the screen which were sort of hieroglyphics from the ancient Egyptian
Yep.
times.
We've all seen them.
And we've all seen them. And in these ancient Egyptian times, hieroglyphics, they showed aeroplanes and helicopters.
All right.
And this wasn't fake either, because there's been lots of pictures of these
Yeah, but
circulating
there's
the
been a lot
internet.
of pictures of Bigfoot.
Nah, but this is like actually
Okay.
real.
So you got.
I'll put them on the
Oh.
screen now for everyone to
All right.
see. And it's incredible because it's like, how did they get
Mm.
there? Considering it was ancient Egypt, like, were people visiting from other planets with higher technological
Helicopters.
means? What helicopters or aeroplanes? But
Yeah,
they
but
do look like
if you had
spacecraft.
interdimensional space travel, why would you still make a helicopter?
Well, it wasn't actually a helicopter, but it looked
Oh,
similar.
okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was quite clearly not. It was quite clearly a helicopter thing that sort of looked like a
Yeah.
helicopter.
Unless
But
it only looks like a helicopter because we have helicopters.
damn, that is a good point. To be
You
fair,
know what I mean? Like, sometimes things only look like things because, you know, when you're looking at clouds and you're like, wow, that looks like two balloons tied together. It only looks like that because
but
we
that's only
know what two
yeah.
balloons tied together looks like. But it's just nonsense. Our brain makes it look like a thing. It's like when people see Jesus in their cups of coffee. It's like, why would he be there? I'm sure it'd much rather be something else than a bit of foam in some coffee. But it's because our mind
That
sees
is true.
things.
But I will put them on the screen for people to make their own sort of
Mm.
judgments about it. But I definitely think they look like some sort of aeroplane craft, which I thought was very interesting. And I just thought it was a pretty mental thing to just appear in ancient Egyptian like hieroglyphic. I thought that was quite
Can
strange.
I ask a question?
Uh, yeah,
Did
mate,
you pick
go for it.
aliens because you've been watching Rick and Morty?
Yeah,
I had a feeling that was the case.
I mean, anyone who knows who's been talking to me recently knows that during this quarantine period, I've been watching a hell of a lot of Rick and Morty, and I've even got
Yeah, I
Joe
was
onto it.
watching it. I said to Lydia, I was like, she was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Rick and Morty." She's like, "I don't think that's good, is it?" And I was like, "Well, Jake wants me to watch it, so I better watch it." And I think I've brought her around on it now, so you're getting something going.
Come on, it's the
The
butterfly
butterfly
effect, my
effect.
guy. It's the butterfly.
I like it a lot. It's quite good.
It is class.
Mate,
It was
okay,
very, very
you
good.
said you'd do your Rick impression.
Oh, oh.
So I feel like it's only fair.
Right,
Can you get a picture of Rick on the screen while you're doing
I can. Now, I want people to go easy because I think this is all right. Joe has told me this is a good impression, so um, I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
it?
But let me just. I have to do this weird thing whenever I do this impression. I have to do like two little coughs beforehand to sort of warm up the throat. So right, if just give me a couple of
This
seconds,
is
Joe, and
quality.
I'll
I,
try
I
my
want
best.
everyone to know this is really good.
Hey, Morty, Morty, this is important, Morty. We gotta go off on an adventure, Morty. Stop fiddling with your dick, Morty. Now, I
So
think
yeah, that
that's
was
quite
the
good.
that's our once per episode impressionist. We had Boris Johnson last week. Yeah, Rick Sanchez this week.
But yeah, that is the reason why I chose aliens.
I love it. I think it's good.
But another point on the aliens that I wanted to bring up um, was something quite linked with the world's weapon system and enemies and UFO sightings.
What? I'm all ears to hear this.
So basically, I've got a because basically what I do for every podcast, I write little notes down on my computer screen. And the note I have for this one is going out in space with thermonuclear weapons. Aliens didn't like that big boo boo.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, we all know that classic. We I think we get taught that in history. I'm not sure. I remember that being a thing. I remember the teacher standing up there, go thermonuclear weapon in space, big, big boom boom.
But So I linked that. So then I had a look at thermonuclear weapons, and in it's quite interesting
Well, you're gonna
actually.
get your door busted in for
Um,
this, but okay.
I mean, I'll risk
Yeah,
it for the
yeah, yeah.
pod, but in Dakota in America, you know where that is, Joe?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
So 18 intercontinental ballistic missiles just suddenly went offline at the exact same
Yeah.
time before they were going to send them off
All
into
right.
space in
Hmm.
North Dakota. Um, but that just does sound a bit strange, doesn't it?
Wait, so they were planning on firing it into space, and then they all went off before they could get
Yeah.
fired into space.
So this was the first missile launch going into
What were they
space.
trying to blow up?
Um, I think they were just
Space.
testing them. I mean, there's a bit of a dumb thing to
Like,
blow
we
up,
kind of
but
need that. You dumb. You don't throw ballistic missiles in glass houses. You know what I mean?
I mean that is true.
It's a fact.
But I don't know the exact reason, but I think they were just trying to send them off to space to sort of test
Yeah.
them out.
I
This was the
guess.
first time that they were going to do this. First time they were going to do this, and they just all shut off at the exact
Hmm.
same time.
That's weird.
And that doesn't sound like a coincidence
No,
to me.
it could have been some kind of like hack boy.
Could have been some
Could have
sort of
been
hack
some
boy,
kind of
but
alien hack boy.
that is strange,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I guess what you're saying is sorry for the vibrations. I'm getting messages. What you're saying is you think that the aliens realized that they were going to fire missiles into space. Space being a infinite void. They didn't like that and decided to shut down the missiles.
Yes,
Hmm. Or get, yeah, I guess,
because
yeah.
I think what now this sounds crazy, but this is what this Dr. Greer was talking about. He was sort of saying how that if we would have shot those missiles into space, it would have affected the sort of like ozone layer
Right.
of space, or not ozone layer of space, ozone layer
Yeah,
of Earth,
and that's bad.
and that is bad. And I think he described it as the aliens stopped that from happening because they didn't want us to ruin
Well, that's
our
very
planet.
kind of them. Yeah, so they're not
Exactly.
all bad.
I, apparently not. They're not all bad. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mad one, but I don't know. I feel like that could have
Hmm.
happened.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit insane. Like, I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, did they go offline or did someone like did they go offline and they were all like panicking and going whoa, or was it like a SpaceX scenario where they couldn't launch the rocket because of clouds, so they had to change the day?
No, they were literally like it went offline, and everyone was sort of like,
Yeah.
"What's going on?"
Did they ever launch them rockets into space?
Which
What?
no,
So there's just rockets sitting around.
yeah, which is quite incredible. The fact that they just
Yeah,
decided
you would
not
have thought
to
they'd be
straight
like,
after
just
that
keep
happened.
pressing. Like, did you unplug it and plug it back in? Sort of
We've all
thing. Yeah,
experienced that drama.
some of us have 67% wireless stream.
It's 64, mate, and
Oh,
that's
oh
even
my
worse.
god. Yeah. Um, I don't know. There must be
Yeah, it's a bit.
something. There can't just be us.
I definitely think there is. I feel. I don't know why nothing other has been discovered or been released by the government who are in charge of Area 51, or there's another sort of space similar facility to Area 51 in the
Is it?
Antarctica. Yeah, because you're not there's if you go to the Antarctic, I think it's the Antarctic. There's sort of like a security there, and you have to tell them why you're
Yeah.
going in,
Oh my god.
and you have to like be with a team of some
Yeah.
sort. Like, hiking thing or something. And
Hiking thing.
if you're not that, they say that I don't know. They sort of just say
Yeah.
go away.
Imagine
So,
you
but there's
pay like
literally
£1,000 to go to Antarctic. It's your one dream to see the Antarctic lights. You're like, this is what I want. I've wanted this since I was 2 months old. And then you get there, and then some FBI bloke's like, "Nah, mate, you ain't got like a traveling guide. Go home." You'd be annoyed, wouldn't you?
imagine someone's there, just like you haven't got the right stamps in your book.
Wait, this it's like one of them things when you go to an adventure park and you can get the stamps done. He's like, "Mate, you haven't got like the dinosaur stamp. Oh, mate, you got to have to go back home." To be honest, I'd like to go to
Mental.
Antarctica.
Yeah, apparently you can only go with permission from like your government
Your
or like
dad.
people high up in the
Yeah.
science world. It's quite mad to consider there's one of those sort of Area 51 similar sort of places
Now,
in
do
the
they like, give
Antarctic.
the
But
aliens jackets to wear? Because I imagine that's a lot colder than Area 51.
do
Do
aliens
aliens
get
get
cold?
cold? These are questions that I don't know if I can particularly answer. I imagine they would. They're meant to be human-like, is what they're always depicted as. What do you think an alien looks
I think I think they could be very
like?
small.
Right?
Hear
Yeah.
me out, hear me out. Because if they were extremely
Hmm.
large beings, then a lot of them would take up a specific planet or
Yeah.
planets. But if they were sort of small beings, a lot of them could take up a lot of planets, which would then increase the amount of force they'd have on other planets, on other solar systems, on other people.
Um. Kind of lost me on that end, but
Well, it's like if you had 1,000 tiny
okay, you got
ducklings
me back. All
against
right.
a swan,
Yeah,
who's
but
going to win?
does the swan have like a gun?
The swans have guns. How's a swan going to pick
They
up a
have
gun?
feet, don't they?
Yeah, but they don't
They
have
have.
thumbs.
Yeah, so don't have a gun then. You could have just said no. In what scenario is 1,000 ducks taken on a swan? But my thing is like humans aren't created the size that we are because we want to fight giant people. What do you mean?
No, because humans evolved into the supposed perfect
Well,
being so they could adapt to do a
yeah,
lot of things. But so if aliens were trying to sort of assemble a group of aliens which could then sort of take
mm.
over, if
Yeah.
that was their
You're putting them
ideology,
you're putting them in the boat that they just want to take things over all the time.
yeah, I mean, I could be seeing this from the
I
completely
don't.
wrong
I'm
angle,
seeing it
but
as
I've
there's probably places or there's probably aliens doing a podcast right now.
talking about the
They're
Small
talking
Brain
about, do
podcast.
you think there's people out there who are similar podcast to us called Small Brain Podcast, where we're actually called the Small Intestine Podcast or something like that, or the Tiny Intestine Podcast? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, mate.
Mm,
That's a good point.
mm. I don't know.
What What do you think aliens look
Me?
like then, mate?
Well, you got a lot of factors in you. I don't think they'd look like people. I don't think they'd look how we'd look for some reason. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't see aliens because aliens just means anything that isn't like us. You know what I mean? You go, oh, that looks alien to me.
yeah.
I think that they'd be more like an animal. If there is anything else out there, it would be more like an animal than a person, maybe
What animal were
a
you
dog.
thinking though? A
No,
dog?
not dog. Like a little slimy dog. You know what I mean? Like a little thing that's like you don't weird to look at, maybe. Like Alien from the film Alien. I feel like it
Yeah,
would be more like not that, but like more how that looks weird. You know what I mean?
I could see that. I could see that. I don't know. I think they either could be very small, or they could appear like Mr. Meeseeks out of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put a picture
Stop
on the
putting pictures.
screen.
Could you put a picture of my example as well then?
A
No,
slimy
Alien
dog.
from Aliens. Yeah,
All
okay,
right,
cheers.
I'll
I
do that.
appreciate
I'll
that.
do that. But yeah, I think
Mate,
I think
you're really
that
giving
was
yourself a lot
that's,
of work here when you just keep saying add picture.
I
No, I
am, but
like
I'm
it. I like
prepared.
it.
But I think that was a good
Mate,
main
I gotta be
topic
honest
this
with you.
week.
That's really set the bar for main event topics on this show. Everyone who's listened to this podcast, what do you think about aliens? Do you think they're real? Do you think they're bothered about meme pages? You know what I mean? Do you think aliens? Do you think in other planets they're trying to do ads and stuff and things on there or pretending to close down? Do you think the aliens pretend to close their planet down? We don't know this. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think
It's true.
it was a good
That is true.
podcast.
Yeah, I've enjoyed this week. I've enjoyed doing
Yeah,
the
I've enjoyed
research
this
for it.
one. Didn't enjoy
I've
that.
I enjoyed the last one as well, but I've enjoyed this one
Mm,
doing the
mm.
research for it. And but yeah,
Got to be
I've
honest.
enjoyed this week,
Sable
and
talks to aliens like it's a bit of a leap, and I like it. He's upped his game. Yeah.
I appreciate that, mate. I
But I think
appreciate that.
that's going to be it for us this week on the podcast. Hopefully everything's run smoothly. If you want to follow the podcast on Instagram, the podcast now has an Instagram, so that's pretty cool. Oh damn!
Oh, damn.
At Small Brain Podcast. I can't believe it hasn't been taken, but at Small Brain Podcast on Instagram, link in the description. Question mark.
Explanation mark. That is
And I
unbelievable.
believe there'll be links to both our Instagrams as well if you want to find us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
down
be
in the
down there as
description.
well.
Yeah, any closing statements?
I think for my closing statement, I'd like to have a suggestion to go and watch Rick and Morty.
Damn. Damn, well, there you go, everyone. If there's one thing you can take out of this podcast, is that you should follow I'm So Waved on Instagram and that you should watch Rick and Morty. And we like to educate on the show. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. I've been handed a note to say good morning, good day, good evening. That's Jake wanted me to put that in there. He wants to coin that as the show's ending catchphrase. So everyone, good morning, good day, good evening, and yeah, from both of us, thanks for listening, and bye. Bye.
See you later.